At this point, I'm starting to wonder what she has left. But every time I think she's really kind of hit that ceiling of like ridiculousness, Bonnie Blue manages to shatter the ceiling and just recreate some new level controversy. Now, this is probably the only time you'll ever hear me give props to someone like Bonnie Blue, because fair play for the creativity on levels of controversy, because this is something else. Before we get into the video, be sure to drop a like. We're on the road to 30,000 subscribers on this channel. I'd love to smash that, so be sure to hit subscribe. I keep you up to date with all things TikTok, social media, and all the rest of it. It's a great time. Recommend me to a friend as well, why not? But Bonnie Blue's done a couple of things, and they are football related. Now, this is obviously a huge market, especially for any age and demographic, mostly of males, but also with females, right? Because obviously football in the UK is like just like God to a Christian, right? It is just that way inclined over in the UK. But she came out on a podcast episode called Only Stands, where the episode was called Bonnie Blue Makes a Man Out of a Barstool Employee, okay? And within it, she basically states that she got banned from Nottingham Forest Football Club, who's having a fantastic season in the Premier League, by the way. They're sitting pretty, looking like they could potentially qualify for the UEFA Champions League next season. That's a little side hustle. But she's apparently been banned from the ground and their home stadium, which goes by the name of the City Ground. Now, I'm pretty sure that she's actually from Nottingham, so this is kind of hilarious. So within the episode, she states that she recently went to a Nottingham Forest game, and this is, quote, "Well, I attempted to. I put on my socials, hey boys, I'm going to be at the game, I'd like to film with you afterwards. And I turn up to the football game and the gate security was like, you're permanently banned from the ground. I thought when they asked me to go to the side, maybe they're upgrading my tickets. Maybe they want to escort me to my seat. This is quite nice. It's a good service. They asked to see my tickets. I showed them and then they quickly took them off me stating, we're escorting you off the premises." And then she also claimed that she was attending an unspecified match to, quote, encourage the footballers to give the crowd a, quote, good time. Apparently, they don't discriminate against sex workers because I was banned because I was a sex worker, she continued, before suggesting, I also think I'm entertaining the supporters, it's less people drinking. So I'm actually doing something good for their health. The justification on this is it's just next level. The justification is up there. Like, you know, I'm actually doing something good for men's health here because I'm taking them away from drinking if I'm offering them a good time at the Nottingham Forest game. Madness. Like, I've heard her justify her actions in some delusional ways, right? But this takes the biscuit. But, you know, she also revealed, like, recently, it wasn't on the same podcast, but apparently she is striving, after Katy Perry's been up to space, to be the first woman to have sex in space. I mean, reach high, lofty goals and all the rest of it. I'd actually be intrigued to see that, for, like, not watch it, like, but I need to rephrase that. I would be interested in seeing if she actually did that. I don't want to watch it, got no interest in watching it. But, like, if it can take place, imagine, like, to be fair, with enough money, you could probably convince someone like Jeff Bezos to do absolutely anything for you, I suppose. But this isn't the only controversy that she's been in recently with regards to football. So she's also partnered up with a local football club's new kit sponsor, right? And it's, you know, Calstock FC, and is in a partnership with Bonnie Blue, which has sparked huge debates on community values and sponsorship ethics. Now, the reason that she's collaborated with them, she's also started calling them quote-unquote blues boys. Okay, this is obviously, like, gonna trigger a lot of people because this is like one of those football clubs which is like grassroots. So anyone who's outside of the UK or just doesn't understand the term grassroots, it's one of these football clubs where you join, like, you can sign up as a, you know, you sign your kid up, for example, from the age of, like, 5 or whatever, and then they would go through the, like, age structure until they get to the under 18s, which is then when, like, you know, usually, like, paid for coaching stops. And then what happens then is, like, you might get invited into the men's football team, for example, or the under-21s football team, and then they've got their own, like, football league structure, but they're not, like, professional, like you'd see with, like, League 2, League 1, Championship, Premier League, for example. They're, like, usually further down in the ranks. So she's sponsored this team, right, which on the surface is obviously really weird, especially considering they have, you know, kids, like kids that play for the club. So obviously that's initially raised a lot of eyebrows, with people being like, this is a little bit sus. But yeah, Calstock FC, I'm just googling them to see where they actually are, because obviously, here we go. So they are, just looking now, yeah, they're just a football club in Cornwall, right? Not just a football club, but, you know, they're a football club in Cornwall. But this is kind of sparking some huge debate, especially surrounding, you know, the ethics of football branding and stuff like this.
Again, but this time she's pissed off the mums. This one's a shocker, so buckle up. Bonnie Blue has sponsored a football team in Cornwall. Apparently their kit used to be yellow and white stripes, and it's going to be changed to blue with BB on the front, and on the back will be written Bonnie Blue's Bees. Now, Calstock is not considered a major team. I think it's 15 leagues below the Premiership, and they've actually described themselves as a drinking team with a football problem. However, having an adult actress, particularly one with a reputation like Bonnie Blue's, which is quite controversial, particularly when it comes to her attitude on things like barely legal boys, university students, women owing men. But the worst part about this is, and the reason that I am covering most of this photo with myself, is that many of the players of this team are children. And the mums are quite rightly absolutely outraged. According to one of the newspapers, Bonnie Blue's cousin plays for this football team, which may be how this collaboration came about. But the mums of some of the boys playing on this team can't believe that this has happened. And not just for their kids and the connotations that come with wearing a kit with Bonnie Blue's name on for underage boys, also for all the other children who play for different teams who will see this sponsorship on their shirts. Do you think she's finally gone too far?
So, for anyone that doesn't understand it, like, kids' football teams will usually play within their local region, for example. So there will be, like, little leagues that will go on, like, within Cornwall, for example, or the southwest of England. And, you know, people obviously are questioning, like, why this isn't a good look. Not just for the football club, but also for their, like, you know, their own kids to be wearing Bonnie Blue sponsored football kits. Now, this, as you can imagine, has had huge ramifications. People have started, like, from what I've heard, pulling their kids out of the football team, being like, we don't want to associate with this, we don't want our child wearing that woman's name. And it's all because of, you know, her reputation online. It's not a particularly good one. So it kind of brings the entire club into disrepute. And also, you know, the fact that kids are wearing this merch is just, there's something really not quite right about it. It's really bizarre. It's really weird. Obviously, this is just a business move. This is probably to offset a shit ton of tax for Bonnie Blue. I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case, right? But like we said, like we heard there, her cousin plays for the football team. So again, there's, like, you know, a bit of an incentive there to, I suppose, sponsor the team. It's really weird. It doesn't sit right with me. I've managed a kids football team, right? I did it for a good few years. And you weren't even allowed the kids' names on the back. On the back of their shirts, that we were only allowed a number. And that is because of, you know, safety precautions, in case there's, like, you know, well, essentially PDF files, so they don't get the surnames of the kids and all the rest of it. And if you did have a surname on the back of your kit, you can get in a lot of trouble with the FA. It's really bad. So the fact that, you know, this is actually allowed, you know? Let me know what you guys think, though, down in the comments below. While you're down there, jump, scare the hell out of that like button and subscribe. And until next time, I'll speak to you later. Peace.